further ado, we will get things started here and make sure everything's working. Everything is working. All right, welcome to session 12 of Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep.
I'm just always impressed that you can pronounce that.
I was gonna say, I'm so glad that you say the name of the campaign and not me.
It is not the worst name to pronounce in the Cthulhu mythos.
That's true.
Fair.
Yeah.
But there are whole books around that, right? So
yeah, and they do give you a handy pronunciation guide that I can kind of get. So that is how I am pronouncing it. And thus the way all of my cultists will pronounce it, thus correct.
Say it with confidence.
it's good to be God.
That's right. All right. So just as an overview and a recap, you guys journeyed to New York City at the behest of your friend Jackson Elias. You had worked with him previously in Peru against some strange things, and he thought that he might need your assistance. Unfortunately, he was killed by cultists in the room with the candlestick.
Pretty sure it was a really big sword.
In your
Knife.
in your quest for knowledge and possibly vengeance, you found that he had stumbled onto some sort of much larger mystery that resulted in him dying. His last letter to you, left with his lawyer, asked you to carry on to finish his work to investigate what was going on. He made a sizable trust fund set aside for this investigation to the tune of $50,000, which I think Tony calculated to be about $850,000 in 2023 dollars.
Yeah, it's a chunk.
Yeah, to cover any expenses that might come up while you investigate this. Your investigation led you to something called the Cult of the Bloody Tongue, operating out of an antique store in Harlem, run by a man named Silas Nikonwe. Investigating that, you found horrifying things in the basement, undead creations, possibly potent artifacts that you have liberated, and enough information to tie this cult to a spate of disappearances and murders, which you then handed over to a contact you had with the New York Times and an honest cop and his kind of squad of untouchables to handle the loose ends there. Your investigations also pointed you towards Erica Carlisle, the sister of the leader of the Carlisle expedition, which is what Jackson was investigating. Last we left, you guys had gone to her mansion in Westchester, talked to her for a bit, found out some of her thoughts about her brother and the expedition. The kind of key information that you got from her, and from some psychiatrist files that you liberated, was that Robert had been having trouble sleeping. He'd been having these dreams of something calling to him. Dreams that he did not view as a nightmare, even though they had nightmarish overtones. The psychiatrist, Dr. Robert Houston, took him on as a patient, and his notes got gradually scarcer and scarcer as he spent time with Roger. Erica believes that Dr. Houston talked Roger into this expedition. Between Dr. Houston and a woman that she refers to as Benay, Bunnay, an African American woman that Roger was seeing, much to the chagrin and dismay of his family. Roger referred to her as a priestess, and that she was queenly, and that she had secrets that he had to have. Erica begrudgingly let him go on the expedition, hoping that it would kind of clear his head of this mumbo jumbo. Unfortunately, the Carlisle expedition ended up in a bad way. Everyone was killed, or so the story is. Shortly after the expedition, which was lost about 5 years ago, burglars tried to get into the estate and headed straight towards the library. A library you guys know contains some books that were referenced in Elias's letters. Security at the estate stopped them, and security has been beefed up. As far as Erica knows, nothing was taken. She did briefly peruse one of the books there and promptly put it back, saying that it was unsettling, that the contents seemed to substantiate Roger's somewhat crazy actions. Also, before leaving for London, Roger was given to disappearing for days at a time. And when he showed up, he was like wild-eyed and crazed, and would only say that he had been to Harlem, thus probably tying him to the cult there. So when we left off, you guys had spoken with Erica, and I believe were going to go and peruse the library.
I believe so.
Yeah, I had offered to evaluate the book for her.
That would be excellent. I was thinking of selling them, but having an esteemed scholar being able to give me a fair market price would certainly make that process much easier.
I would not recommend selling them.
I mean, they would probably be in a safer place in the index of the university, if they are the kind of book I suspect they are. That doesn't mean you do not deserve a fair price for them.
Well, if you think that's something that your university might be interested, I'm sure an arrangement can be made. It's been quite a while since we had a wing of a university library named after us.
The university is always very grateful for his generous donator. And at the same time, if I can facilitate your foray into the British market, I'd be pleased to be of some assistance.
Yes, that would be excellent. We're just beginning preliminary discussions, filing the paperwork and etc. But
Yeah, family over there are used to old name, if you will. So maybe some presentation could go a long way in facilitating your access to the market.
certainly, I can. The Carlisle family does go back quite a ways to England, actually. I'll see what my partners can draw up. But that is a excellent advice. Make a good first impression.
Talking with the right people and do not looking like not coming in as a someone advertising themselves from the new world is a good way of having the support of the old family over there. I'm sure the Carlisle family will have no problem with that, but if I can be of assistance, it would be my pleasure.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Well, if you'd care to see the books.
Yes.
And so she leads you through the mansion. Her bodyguard is never more than a couple of paces at most from her while you guys are there.
As we walk through the estate, I just take a look at the art and the the way the place is decorated. Just
If
to try to get an idea as if they're just doing it for the show or if they actually know what they're exposing.
The art has been very carefully selected. It definitely like each room that you pass has a theme. So it's not just a mishmash of art styles and antiquities and stuff. Everything seems to have its place. Like it's been professionally curated, in your opinion. Whether Erica did it herself or whether she paid somebody to do it, you don't know. But it definitely shows organization.
Yeah, it's not just we're buying expensive stuff and putting it on displays.
Correct. That should lead you to the library. The library itself, it's fairly large. Probably takes up like one wing of this 3-story mansion, so it's a fair size. Inside, there's easy chairs, there's tables, there's reading lamps, there's ashtrays, spittoons, a large like Victorian iron fireplace, um, a teak and slate billiards table, and literally thousands of volumes of different works, many of which are protected within like glass fronted bookshelves along the walls. Um, you can tell like they're not locked currently, but they are like glass fronted bookshelves to keep dust and stuff. Um, and just as you kind of look through them, there are like leather bound complete editions of like the works of Dickens and Ralph Waldo Emerson and various other kind of like literary or cultural greats.
In spite of himself, Alvin will whistle.
Of interest to probably Evelyn and Dr. Carter, there is a section on the occult.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
And along the north wall of the library, there's a large case filled with reference books in both English and French. And Erica says, "I will leave you to it. The books you're looking for are in the safe." And she'll walk over and she'll pull out like a very thick volume of the works of Edgar Allan Poe. And then behind it, there's a little button that she pushes, and the entire case slides several feet to reveal a safe behind it. I don't know why these volumes in particular my brother had decided to protect more than the others. Some of these, I've been told, are worth quite a handsome sum. But the books in the safe don't seem to be of any literary importance, at least not to me.
From just perusing your volume, just walking through the library, I saw quite a few volume of considerable value. I'm curious to check on those books to see why your brother put so much importance on them. But if the people he's been associating with in Harlem are any indication, might be of a more bombastic and I don't remember the word for that, but misguided nature. But people interpreting old work in strange fashion is nothing new. But if you'll indulge me, I'll take a bit of time to do a round on them and evaluate them for you.
Certainly. Take your time. If you need anything, I'll have a servant outside the door should you require anything. I will leave you to your work. I have business to attend to.
Thank you very much. I'll try to set myself up a little workspace and bring the book out of the vault. Bring myself a little bit of notepad and try to make an oversight of the what I have in front of me.
All right. So she goes and she opens up the poll book and takes out like a little folded piece of paper, and then she's got the combination written down there. But inside the vault are 4 books. One of them written in French, called Selection de Livres Divins. My French is horrible, so don't get mad at me, Yorick.
Sélection du livre divin, I guess.
Yep. Which is it's a fairly old, handwritten, bound in decaying blue calfskin. One of the other books is called Amongst the Stones, which is fairly recent. Was written in 1918, is handwritten. It seems to be a collection of poems bound in the skin of some creature that is definitely not leather.
Don't even want to know.
Definitely not human skin.
That's a relief.
Still don't want to know.
That one is called Amongst the Stones. There is another book in English dating to 1810 called The Life as a God, which is a fairly small book. And it is bound in something that is definitely not animal leather.
It's vegan leather.
No.
Sort of. I mean, it's made out of tree.
And the other one is English, dating back to the 15th century, embossed red leather binding. The binding to you, those of you trained in anthropology, seems to be more recent than the contained manuscript. That one is called the Panoptic Manuscripts. And these 4 books are the only things secured in what is actually a fair-sized book vault. The the all the other stuff, the things that are have actual monetary value, they're just out in the open. These 4 books, though, are locked away.
So, Doc,
The Panoptic Manuscript, Stone, and the Divine.
Yep, the Panoptic Manuscripts, Selection de Livres Divins, Amongst the Stones, and Life as a God are the 4 books.
so Doc, can you rate this from normal to Peru, each one of these, before we just start diving into this shit?
Yeah,
Categorize them, like put them in stacks or something.
on a scale of 1 to Cancer, where we are.
Okay, just kind of glancing through these. These are all these are dark books. These are just like the images that are engraved in them, and the the pictures, and the like kind of insane scrawling in the margins from whoever was reading it at some point. These books are definitely dangerous. The most important one is probably the Selection de Livres Divins. Other than that, the Panoptic Manuscripts, And as you start to actually look into them, I'll give you little write-ups or little descriptions as to what's actually in them.
The French one is clearly the most Peru one of the bunch. They're all Peru shit. Nothing reassuring in them, but the French
I
one's the worst.
preferred my life when books weren't scary.
I mean, if you and I'm gonna point at a book I particularly like in the library. This is a great read that will not put you in trouble. Like if you want to suit your mind, I'd go with that. But amongst the book in the library in the vault, yeah, not bedside book.
Yeah.
Right, but Jackson's ramblings mentioned the books in this vault, so there's got to be a piece of information here somewhere. Someone's
Oh
going to
yeah,
have to read it.
yes, and I was going to peruse them a bit further to know exactly what it's about, but I'll probably make an offer to the mistress of the house to just get that off her hand, so we have clues, and also to make sure that no one else get into Peru shit.
Salvatore, if he starts going like funky or bleeding from the eyes or talking in tongues, just hit him with a chair or something.
I
Just
mean,
nods. I just nod approvingly.
I mean, it could be a joke, but I do get the point, and if that happened, I think knocking me out is probably the best idea.
I preferred my life when books weren't scary.
Right? I mean, we didn't go near the well because it was too fucking scary, but books are apparently okay.
I mean, I'm gonna like go over them lightly before I break something in my head, but we need to know what's this about. And I'm still terrorized of that well, by the way.
I don't disagree with figuring out what the books say. Just Salvatore, if he gets out of line, you could use my chair. I'll get up.
I have fists. I don't need a chair.
So, just if you people don't mind, I'm just gonna sit down and try to get you a better idea of what we're dealing with. So, have a glass. Take it easy. Just give me a bit of time. And I'm putting the book in orders of how terrible I feel they are. So if anyone want to look something up, like this is my approximation on how terrible those things are. And I'm gonna start with the French one because I assume I'm the only one speaking. I don't know. I think you speak French too, Salvatore.
Je parle un peu.
A bit of French.
All right. So the selection, it's a parchment bundle, about 179 pages. Obviously quite old. Suffering from like neglect and mad scramblings of previous owners. The back edge of each sheet is ragged. Obviously, these have been torn out of some sort of binding. The work is handwritten, copiously illustrated, with grotesque faces and obscene margin markings and a recurring sigil that kind of resembles like a triangle, kind of. Give me a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
Um, the thing is, I have a feeling I have an idea of what we're talking about with the triangle symbol, and I don't like that.
Sorry, are we both reading this one, or is it just Dr. Carter since I do speak some French?
If you want to read over his shoulder, you certainly can.
Probably the
I
best way to
just
keep him in line just in case he like goes crazy or something, to be right there to put my hands on
What happens if you go crazy?
him.
like let me assess the book before anyone else start going too deep into them. Well, if Miss want to start assessing
Really?
them, no problem. I just don't believe most of you are in the right mindset, probably. So that was a Cthulhu Mythos.
Yep. Okay. Um, so yeah, nothing comes to mind. But as you're just kind of glancing through it, it's not enough to count as an initial reading for sanity loss or mythos gain or anything. But you're just kind of like, okay, this one looks important. This one seems to be um, written by a somebody purporting to be a sorcerer in distant antiquity. It's using Roman characters, but the condition makes it quite difficult to read. Thankfully, you're in a library with adequate lighting and all of that stuff. Um, the one thing that sticks out in this is talking about a race of like snakemen um, that basically brought about some sort of icy apocalypse in the days before the dinosaurs.
Okay.
To,
Stickman.
yeah, if you decide to do like actually read it, then you'll get more information. But
Yes. Miss Collins,
Yes.
if you were not keen on perusing those, do you mind checking on their occult section? He has been using that section as reference for his research. Maybe knowing a bit more about what he was basing his research on might be of interest for moving on with or investigation.
I'd be interested in reading both, but I can certainly peruse the occult section while you're busy in here.
I'm just making a prior assessment. You once this is done, you can take one and do an assessment more into deep. But I'm trying to get a basic feel of them. But
Certainly.
while we have access to the library, just having an idea of what he's dealing with could be of interest.
Oh, I'm very curious to see what they have on their shelves.
I assume you would be. So while we do have the while we do have the floor.
all right. So the next book, in your estimation, is the Panoptic manuscripts. And for this, I actually need whoever is kind of perusing it to give me a language English roll.
Okay. Did we fix the fact that I did not have the English to roll on my sheet?
I think I added it on. Yes.
Okay. Oh, language. Yes, English.
Excellent. All right. So this book is written in Middle English, specifically an archaic form used around the time of the Norman invasion. It's relatively new as far as Middle English goes, so it's not super difficult to read, but you do have to kind of wrap your brain around the tenses and stuff. It's a 10-inch by 12.5-inch book. It has no title, but a peculiar pentagram-like symbol seared into the heavy bindings.
Hmm.
The title page gives the name, the Panoptic manuscript. And then there's a subtitle that says, as written in the so-called Panoptic Scrolls, as translated from the Greek by the author, together with additional remarks upon the work in the light of new learning. This one is not handwritten, it is typeset. And the printer's mark says 1496, although the binding is more recent.
Been rebound.
Periodically, there are plates that have been cut out of it. You would presume probably illustrations. There are pencil marks in modern English, frequently in the first third of the work. Um, it's a safe bet to assume those are probably Roger's notes.
Is Nodar still in the book?
Yeah, just like margin notes, like, oh,
Okay.
check this reference, check that reference, that sort of thing. The big gist that you get of this,
Just how big is this library? Like
there's
bigger.
yeah, it's like an entire floor of one of the wings of the mansion.
Hey, Alvin. Well, they're going about doing their studying. We might as well take a walk around, make sure no one's snooping, see if we can see anything out of the ordinary. I see Alvin's muted, but that's what Luther's going to do.
Okay, perfect. Give me a spot hidden roll.
Sure. Why won't you bring up my box? It won't let me roll. Let me reload.
Yeah, you might have to F5.
Happens to me a lot.
Doesn't seem to want to load back up for me. Just a black screen. Just go ahead and roll, Chris. Oh, there it comes.
You got it?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah, there's a lot of books here.
Lots of books. Probably some that even Luther would like.
Books are for nerds.
All right. So the brief skimming of this book seems to be it's like a haphazard jumble of myths outlining the histories of like mythical kingdoms and civilizations. The sort of thing like Atlantis and Lemuria, those sorts of things. And it seems to be like a collection of different myths from around the world. The next book, assuming you're going from like worst to best in your
Yeah.
very broad view.
Assume the most Peru to least Peru.
So the next one would be the book titled "Life as a God."
When life is God is not the worst of the setup.
So, Life as a God seems to be the diary of a madman. It is a bunch of just like mind blowing depravity and insanity in the names of something called the Black Pharaoh. And there is a loose page in that.
Is it a page that came from the book and is now loose, or just a page that's been added?
It's a page that's been added. And give me a medicine roll.
Oh. uh, yes, medicine roll. I need to get better at that, but right now I feel like I should not be too good at that. That game and the role you want to get and the role you don't want to get.
Okay. All right.
That was almost a 2 on my screen. Almost.
Almost. So the loose piece of paper, um, it it's a different handwriting, and again, it matches Rogers, and it says, its external angles were magnificent and most strange. By their hideous beauty, I was enraptured and enthralled, and I thought myself of the daylight fools who had judged the housing of this room or as mistaken. I laughed for the glory they missed. Through the twisted door to the jeweled throne of darkness, I came with all reverence and humility to gaze upon scenes of celestial majesty and rebirth. When the 6 lights were lit and the great word said, then he came. In all the grace and splendor of the higher planes, and I longed to sever my veins so that my life might flow into his being and make part of me a god.
That
Sounded
sounds
like
that
an
sounds
evil bad guy comment.
feels like something that would kill you.
It feels like someone would monologue right before lightning struck or something.
Yeah.
All right, I'll drop that particular tidbit into your found handouts under the America section.
I'm gonna share that part with the class since it's is handwriting, and I'm gonna keep it in the book at the page so I can remember where it was. Like if the other page where it is has context on it.
Okay. And the final book, Amongst the Stones, a collection of handwritten poems. Just give me a second to find my thing.
But that page was paper.
Yeah, like fairly modern, like loose leaf type of paper, or the 1920s equivalent of loose leaf.
Yeah.
Yellow legal pad. So this collection of poems, um, several verses are all written by the same author, Justin Joffrey. Some of these are earlier versions, which have seen heavy revision before officially being publicated. Others are unique. The one that draws your attention is there's a poem that goes into great detail about this dread ruler, this queen of Egypt, named Nitocris. And how her power was her unfathomable power was tied to her royal regalia. So like her belt, her girdle, her headdress, which apparently elevated her beyond more mere queenship to, power unto a god. And that's pretty much what you find from the books without actually delving into them.
And you said that book was eventually published?
Some of those poems were eventually published. This is like the working draft before the heavily revised published editions.
Would the published version be in that library?
Yes.
Just to compare what did not get to print.
Most of the stuff about Nitocris never saw print.
Okay. That's what I thought, but just making sure.
But yeah, for you and Salvatore and Evelyn, these books are very are definitely tied into that strange Peruvian mythology.
Going down.
For Evelyn's part, she's going to be sort of circulating back and forth between the vault books and the occult section.
Give me a library use roll.
Oh no. She pointed where the occult section was.
But it's fairly large.
That's true. No, my dice don't like me. But it's only 6 points away. 7 points, 6 points.
What happens if you push it? Will the library burn down?
Well, that
Let's
depends
find
on how she describes pushing the roll.
Burning down the house.
Gate now?
I'm going to recruit Mr. Pratt to start getting books down from me that I can't reach or carry and spread them all out on a table.
Okay. All right. So
Start.
basically, so pushing the roll would be basically you're going to probably take the rest of the day here just going through these books.
Oh yeah, Evelyn would easily get lost in the books once she can actually reach them. Probably muttering to herself as she does. No, even farther away, because apparently my dice will not allow, even with a 51. Like, the odds are better. Yeah, not my dice.
Um,
Evelyn's fighting a headache, apparently.
All right. So yeah, so Evelyn is engrossed in her research, and the books that you pull, the ones that seem like they seem to have been moved most recently, or other things that kind of drew your attention, seem to be focused on kind of like the Austria-Hungary border, Austro-Hungarian border. Some of the books reference lost civilizations, Lemuria, Atlantis, etc., etc. Um, you're fairly certain that Robert was trying to find one of those civilizations, and he seemed fixated on the Austria-Hungarian border.
That's odd.
Yeah, there's nothing about the Wendigo or Bigfoot in any of this stuff.
And there's no,
Um,
I imagine there isn't. No, nothing else that we have indicates anything at all. That far north.
Had no trail that led there or in that direction, right?
No, nothing. I don't remember seeing anything about either country in any of the in any of his notes or any of the newspaper articles or anything. She'll go into the vault area.
Okay.
Dr. Carter,
Yes.
was there anything in what you've seen so far that had anything to do with the Austria-Hungary border? Because I don't remember seeing anything in any of the newspapers, or like I don't even recall them recruiting anyone from that area to go on that
No,
expedition.
no, actually, I don't. mm, I don't remember anything. Is there anything I, as a character, remember that the player don't?
Nope.
Yeah. No, I don't. Why? Why do you ask? Because
Well,
this doesn't
these
ring a bell to me.
I was going through the occult section, and these are the books that seem to be moved the most recently. There's a bit of a cover of dust on some of them. The ones though that looked like they had been moved the most or most often dealt with lost civilizations, and uh, I would think that he was trying to find one in that area, but I don't remember anything else.
I mean, a couple leads bring us out of the bat that he took. I mean, we should note the name and edition of those books, so we might get them from other sources to try to see if there's any link between anything. But no, like that. At this point, I don't see why I was looking to that.
I'll keep going through them. I haven't found anything useful yet, so. But
I have jotted down the general idea of the different volume. I'll have to spend a bit more time with them to understand better what we're dealing with. But I have a rough estimate of what we're dealing with here. So I'll be looking at that, giving you a bit more time.
I'd certainly like to take a look at them when you're
Yes,
finished.
you have my blurb about them just here. So depending on what you find and what you want to check on. Um, and I found this note in the third book, directly from him. Not sure what it's referencing. Um, Chris,
Yep.
if I share the content of the note with the class to try to get Luther's help with the medicine part of it, would that be considered as pushing?
Sure.
You
Maybe we
know, I
can.
don't know anything about medicine, right?
I thought you had a bit more medicine than I do.
You can give me a hard first aid roll.
Hold
I
on,
mean,
but
I
pushing.
could roll. I could roll first aid.
Hold on. I just want to confirm systemically. If he's doing that to justify pushing, it would still be him pushing, as opposed to asking somebody else to also look at it and them getting their own roll. No.
Mechanically, if somebody else is doing the same role or a similar role for the same thing, it still counts as pushing, even though the other person makes the roll.
Okay, so you could leverage somebody else to push for you if their score is better.
Yep.
Okay.
And since we're in the library, I think the stuff that could be used as a leverage, because I know when we push, we need to leverage it against something. We might need to consult some reference book, and it might take more time to do that roll. That's something that works,
Sure.
because I don't see bad stuff like just trying to figure out medically what this mean. Other than that,
So you can make a hard first aid roll.
I could try. Fuck no.
Nope. So trying to piece this together in Evelyn's obsessiveness, it basically takes you guys all evening to get the little bit of information that you have.
Roll for being bored for Alvin.
There is a billiards table here.
Oh, fantastic! I'm gonna play billiards with Pratt.
Hell yeah.
Perfect. So basically, quick montage scene of Evelyn and Dr. Carter going over books and checking things and getting increasingly frustrated and not being able to make heads or tails out of what's important, what's not, what's just crazy ramblings. Periodically counting to shots of people playing billiards in the background. Salvatore kind of looming close to Carter just in case something goes awry. But with the two failed rolls, you guys have essentially exhausted the leads that are in this library. I mean, you can read the books, but it's literally going to take you days.
And our
in a-
cover is evaluating, right? So I don't know when the lady's going to come back and say, "So, how much are they worth?" Right?
Exactly.
yeah, that was the next question I was gonna ask. In a purely academic fashion, are those book worth something?
Can give me an appraisal roll. All these little niche skills that Call of Cthulhu has.
Yeah, a better you than me because my score is a 5.
It's not something I thought about getting.
Does anyone have other than 5? Because I think the skill starts at 5.
5
For
here.
which?
What skill set?
Appraisal.
Appraisal.
Appraise.
I have a 20.
I mean,
Woohoo!
There you go.
I should have taken that skill, but I did not.
All right. So Evelyn, you can give me an appraisal roll.
Oh yeah, because that'll work.
$1 million.
I couldn't succeed on a 51. I don't think I'm going to succeed on a 20.
Booyah!
Guilt the
Because
dice into it.
My dice are the most contrary things in existence.
You've
Now
made
you
your
know how
one.
to deal
You
with
made your one successful roll for the night.
There you go.
Yeah, my one.
So Evelyn, you would think that the fair market value to a collector for these books, like just these 4 volumes, would be probably around $2,500.
25 what?
2,500.
2,500.
Okay.
God damn.
Books on this sort of thing are expensive.
How do you appraise a book that's handwritten?
Carefully.
It's $37,000 in today money.
Yeah. There are all kinds of occult volumes that are handwritten. It depends on who did the writing, how legible it is, how faded, the condition of the pages themselves, the binding.
Which number is it? The third one in a
Topic.
row that you've written?
Sometimes.
I mean, stuff about the Bigfoot's worth a lot.
And writing a book takes a long time.
When I was a child, I thought that every time someone recorded an album, they recorded it live. So if you made 10 albums, it's because you sang the entire album 10 times.
Wow.
I mean, there's no saying they didn't.
Yeah, I
But
feel
when
like
it
that's
comes
what we're
to,
walking in.
when
Like these
it
people are
comes to
crazy. Is it like the third
handwriting,
time that he writes this book entirely? Or is this just his journal?
Bibles used to be written by hand. before the printing press.
It's not that old, is it?
No.
What, the
Otherwise,
Bible?
it'd be worth a lot more than $2,500. And that is no small amount of money.
Is there a handwritten Bible here? No, that'd be something.
Not in the occult section.
There,
They may have it among religion.
Yeah, it's usually frowned upon to put the Bible in the occult section.
Yeah.
but there are several editions of the Bible.
But handwriting something takes a lot of effort, and in spiritual circles, it imbues the book with a bit of the author. Or the scribe, if they're not really writing their own words.
If we're buying books, I want to buy some Bibles.
Why? You can get them anywhere.
It's not the kind
They're
of
all the
place.
same.
We're not dealing with anything here. Just offered to evaluate those books. If you want a Bible of good quality, we can find you one, but I don't think it is the place here.
Is this one of those things where a Bible would be useful against Peru shit?
I honestly have absolutely no idea.
Well, it can't hurt.
I mean, in all honesty, when we were in Peru, before we got to the pyramid, I did buy a flask of holy water.
Did you really?
Did it help?
I mean, not that I could see. In the name of experimenting the quality all possible option, I did throw everything at it, including the holy water, and didn't have any effect that I could see.
Still good to have God on our side, right?
I mean, God's got to be on our side because it's definitely we're not definitely against him, right? Here, when we're talking about this stuff.
Whatever we're fighting, it's not on that side. That's for sure. If it is, we need a new god.
Hey, watch your mouth.
I said, if anything that is backing Peru shit, I'm not on his side. I would never say that God is, but whatever God is on the side of that shit, I'm not dealing with.
At that point, the library door opens, and Erica is there. Certainly don't mean to rush, and I don't know how long these things may take, but it is getting late in the evening, and I was not anticipating overnight guests.
Oh no, perfectly appropriate. I did have the time to make a rough estimate of the situation with those books. The university would probably be interested in studying them further to assess them completely. But this is not a trivial matter that I can just fix myself. I would need to contact the university to arrange something.
Oh, certainly.
Those are intriguing manuals, but probably things you want to keep out of the hand of the impressionable mind, let's say.
The one that I saw was quite disturbing enough.
Yes, they are. They share that disturbing nature.
Well,
I would be interested though in bringing them to the university for evaluation to get them further graded and try to assess exactly what we're dealing with. But those are books of interest. I can certify this.
certainly, we'll have the university contact me, and I'll make arrangements.
Good. We'll probably have to return to England soon, so I'll try to get those arrangements done before we leave.
Of course.
And then we go.
Oh yeah.
Wait, Chris, is there anything happens before we go? Because I have a question to ask Carter once we're off the property.
Nope. Erica and her bodyguard, they escort you to the door. They do arrange. No, you guys rented a vehicle to come. You gave them. So yeah, they escort you to the door. Erica provides like her correspondence information for the university.
We pick up our guns before we leave.
Pick up your guns before you leave.
When we're in the
yeah.
We're in the car on the way to the city. I'm going to ask Dr. Carter. Dr. Carter, why didn't we just buy those books if you're so interested in them?
Or steal them.
Don't
I mean,
steal.
she wanted to sell them. She asked you to evaluate them.
Yes.
I'm not saying 10 grand isn't a lot of money. It's huge. But we could have just walked away with them.
No matter how we deal that, if it's from the estate, if it's from the university, we'll need to get the money moved. I didn't assume we could leave with the books in one way or another.
Okay.
I might not
We
be.
do want them, right? We do want
Yes.
them.
Yes.
I looked to Miss Collins. Is this something we want to own?
I didn't have a chance to look at those particular texts.
I'm just curious if this is something we want to own or something we want somebody else to own and we can go look at.
I think we want to have free access to them.
Then we should make the effort to get them ourselves.
Do you suggest we go through the foundation to make sure we do?
I just don't want them. Look, I just don't want them to be cursed, right? I don't want to buy 4 books, carry them with us, and then I don't know, they murder us in our sleep or something.
Yeah. It's just that
I'm the paranoid one.
the way I see things, I'm gonna contact the university. Tell them there's research material I'd be interested in our possession. And once we establish that with the university, what I'm thinking of is I know they want to open market in London, and they might be interested in just having something named after them in the university. So I think this kind of negotiation will not be directly buying them by the university, but making a deal with the family as a donation to the university.
All I know is that last time one of our friends bled and they used his blood to follow him back home and then kill him. I just want to make sure there's nothing like that here. I'm all for buying them or not buying them or keeping them somewhere else or whatever. I just don't want to be put in a situation where on my tombstone it says books were dangerous, right?
Yes, I get your point.
That's it. This is your stuff. It's you, Miss Collins. You guys have this, whatever this is, under control.
I do think in this situation, I do think it's under control.
Okay. I believe you. Practically believe him.
No, it's a good thing to challenge those preconceived because I might not have thought twice about it. We need to be safe in a way that I never thought I'd had to. So this is the kind of thing we need to think about. Like, I didn't think I'd have to think about sympathetic link when trying to purchase books. That's where I'm going with that. But we do now.
When I have that conversation, Chris, and we're in the car, Luther's like checking his gun, making sure the bullet's in, cocking around, checking his other gun, spinning the revolver, making sure all the bullets are there.
Perfect. Yeah, everything is completely in place.
Just as an analog to the geeky types, quote unquote, talking, he's He's just prepping for the next bit of shit.
Yep. No problem.
You just lump Alvin into geeky types? Come on.
You're on the fence, Alvin.
All right. So when you get back to the hotel, there is a message waiting for you from Ramsey. Basically saying, meet me at your convenience. I have someone for you to meet. And other than that,
Which one was Ramsey?
the lawyer.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Other than that, by the time you guys get back, it is the wee hours of the morning.
I'm gonna check with international time what time it is in England at that time to see if if it would be a good time to contact the faculty.
You'd have to probably send a telegram, so you can send that pretty much any time, and the university will get it when they get it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I assume cross ocean would be a telegram, not a.
Yeah, but you won't be able to send that until the morning when the telegraph station is open.
Okay, I'll keep that for the moment.
Only a 5-hour difference.
Yeah. All right.
It's 4 hours across Canada. I think it'd be more.
No.
4.5.
4.5 if you go coast to coast.
Yeah. Can't forget Newfoundland.
I've done that drive twice.
All right. What we're going to do at this point is we're just kind of like montage the scene. Basically, you guys have everything that you need here in New York. So we'll just kind of very quickly go if there's any last minute things you want to do. The meeting with Ramsey. Ramsey will basically expresses his condolences for the death of Volador. Realizing that whatever threats you may be facing, whatever it was that killed Jackson and Volador, you may need manpower, and we'll introduce you to Bill Graham, Trevor's new character. So Trevor, you can quickly introduce your character.
Sure. I'm William Bill Graham. Kind of short, like 5'7", around that size, skinny, wears glasses. Kind of,
Another nerd?
he's kind of nerdy in a Radar O'Reilly kind of way from MASH, which means he's a little bit meek, but there's something to him. Like there's an edge underneath it all, so the meekness might be a bit of a show. He was born in Toronto, Ontario, but he has kind of a French Moroccan accent, but he can't speak French at all, which is kind of weird. I don't know if you made your perception rolls, you can tell he's probably spent some time in the war as a company clerk somewhere, and after the war, just used his connections and absolute utter lack of morals to become a half decent smuggler. But unfortunately, he's the kind of half decent smuggler that he's half decent smuggler for about 8 to 10 months, and then he has to leave town quickly. He's not a con man, but he is a criminal, and that's him.
Hey, your best friends in the military are the clerks and the cooks. Good enough for me.
Yep. All right. So, before you guys head to England as your next stop, you can get in touch with the university very easily, Dr. Carter. You can give me a persuasion roll.
If I say that I'm gonna make sure that I go finance a part of the buy from personal finance, Can I get an edge on that roll?
Sure can. You can have a bonus die for putting up some of the money yourself.
Yeah, I'm not asking them to front at all, but think it's gonna pass better if it's go through these words. And I really need to up my persuasion because I end up making persuasion roll all the time.
Oof.
That's not the right roll. Though.
No.
I don't know why roll every imaginary though. How much is my persuasion?
10.
That would be like 27 to try to get it.
Well, you should have rolled with a bonus die as well. So.
Oh, yeah.
So.
You want me to re-roll or?
May as well re-roll. Too many variables in play.
Yeah.
Yeah, bonus die is huge, right?
Bonus die is.
Could you roll for me? Because I don't I don't think I can swear it's not going to do the same thing again.
Spend 14 luck.
14 luck. You roll with the bonus dice.
I did.
I mean, 24 is a good roll.
Yeah, I'll spend a 14 luck.
Okay. All right. So you get in touch with the university. You offer to finance part of it. So you can deduct, let's say you can deduct $1,000 from your assets.
Well, I was thinking of putting that on the with the account we have.
Okay. So it comes off your assets, and then you have to give the receipt to the lawyer.
Yep. Okay. Good.
Perfect. All right. Is there anything else anybody wanted to do in America?
I'd like to stop at Arkham. We can do that montage style, but I wanted to have the tea with the professor so he can give the expose I could not have. We didn't have the time to get last time.
Perfect.
I feel that might be of importance at some point.
Alvin's is a absolutely tiny thing. He's picking up a matching pair of Bibles, and he gifts one to Pratt.
Okay.
Matching pair of what?
Bibles.
Bibles.
Bibles. Oh, nice.
Professor Cowell's lecture was on, strange death cults in Polynesia. Specifically, evidence of what was thought to be an extinct cult to something called the Father of All Bats, whose followers believed in human sacrifice that would make them worthy enough so that the Father of Bats would appear to them. And once he was enticed to appear, he would conquer everybody. Sacrifices were run through a gauntlet of worshippers who struck their victims with clubs embedded with the sharp teeth of bats and coated with fast-acting poison derived from fermented bat droppings.
Ew.
So I always wondered about this, Dr. Carter.
Gross.
If these people think we do this and an all-powerful deity will come and destroy everything and give us power over everything, wouldn't they have had to figure, wouldn't it have had to have happened in the first place for them to say these are the things we need to do? But there clearly didn't happen, and so they don't know how to do those things, and thus it never happened, and it's not true?
Well, like we have the discussion before, sometime knowing what people believe, even if it's utter crap, get us an insight on what they're going to do next. But sometime they get whispered shit by Peru things, and those actually works.
Right. So this is all bat droppings, is what you're telling me.
I mean, the problem is I have a hard time separating what is batshit insane and what is batshit actually real.
Okay.
That's
So
not very
I
comforting,
mean,
Doc. You're the expert.
yes, and just I'm gathering as much as we can so we know how the people we're dealing with thinks, but on the modicum of chance that something is actually hero shit and functional, we need to be aware of it.
I think what he's saying, Pratt, is that if there are 1,000 crazy people and they all think crazy things, and one of them happens to be right, it's very hard to tell one crazy thing apart from another one.
Fair?
I'm gonna assume that everything I collect is crazy things, with an eye on trying to find which one of those are actually gonna make a body shamble or something like that.
Okay.
But that's why I'm pursuing everything our friend was looking into, because he might have had clues that we don't right now that led him to this. So I don't know if
My only fear is that insanity is contagious, right? So these people are crazy, so they write crazy things, which led our friend to read those crazy things, and then he started to go crazy, and now we are following up on reading those same crazy things. Dot dot dot.
We is a
yes.
very strong word.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I think it's important that we stays a strong word. I mean, I think I need to understand this to help us, but I don't think we all need to go down that rabbit hole. We need to be aware that Peru shit is a thing, but I don't think we need to all go down that rabbit hole. So if some of us get lost in there are still people out there to shake them up. If that makes any sense.
I will pretend it did, and I will apply it if required.
Yeah, what he said.
I'm gonna read the book. Don't all read the book. If I get nuts, tell me that I'm going nuts.
Fair enough.
Any of those books in English? I'll read one of those books. He's looking at you guys like you're all batshit crazy.
Oh, new guy. Right. Yeah.
Is anyone going to explain to him Peru?
Well, if he's gonna be with us, we better at least get him on speed on Peru shit.
Hey, I read the book and I saw Volador's movie.
Well,
Okay.
we can like get on the boat and give us lots
Yeah.
of time to fill him in, right?
Yeah, so he doesn't escape, because when we start talking crazy shit, he'll say these people are crazy and then leave. On the boat, it's harder to leave.
Bill starts eyeing the door.
Yeah. Well, part of
Clerks and
the
cooks, boys. Clerks and cooks.
well, I mean, part of the caveat as well is that Ramsey pulled this name out of his black book, which means it's somebody who knew Jackson, so is aware of some of this stuff.
The black book of new PCs.
The black book of new PCs.
Yeah, I probably worked with your author friend there back in the day. I'd never had a Peru though.
Oh, you're gonna love your first one.
No,
Is that
Pratt.
the word
You
we're
do not.
using?
Or other friend kept some stuff out of his book. What we're dealing it with is the stuff that don't make it to books because people won't believe them.
Okay, so Bill, things are stranger than fiction. We could explain it to you, but you wouldn't believe us until you see it. So just cut us some slack, and we'll have this conversation once you turn around and say, okay, now I need to know more.
All right, I bet you a case of wine we'll never have that conversation.
I'll take that bet.
And I'll shake on it.
So the captain.
Bill, I lost $1 on this bet with Pratt last time I said that. Just, yeah.
All right. So just for bookkeeping's sake, are you guys traveling to Mexico for Volodor's funeral?
Yes.
Are we?
That's in the wrong direction, though. I want to.
I don't think so.
Well, the first question
Were
is,
we invited? Because I mean,
Are we
technically, we were
welcome?
there when he died. It's entirely possible the family doesn't want to see us.
That's true. I greatly doubt his family would want to see us.
Since we're montaging this, Luther's stance is that we absolutely don't have time for this. It's important. Funerals are important. His body got home. So this is from a soldier's perspective. He got to his family. That's as good as we can do. We got shit to do. We got to go. That's my two cents.
Evelyn will be swayed by whichever side makes the best agreement. She would like to go, but she doesn't want to go alone.
To go and
Alvin is of the opinion that his friends have died because he did not act. He can act to help his friends in England. He cannot act to help Volador anymore.
Salvatore, any thoughts on it?
say he wants to go to the funeral. As far as he can see, from what little he knows, he doesn't believe that there is anything suggesting that taking a day or two away, or however long, a few days, to go to one of his good friends' funerals, ruins our timeline.
I think we're talking about like 2 weeks to go do this.
Yeah.
I did the math. It would be about a week.
A week there, and then a week to get back to England.
No, it's about 3 days there and 3 days back by train.
Here, and then we have to cross to England.
Then you have to cross England.
And England is
Week,
A week?
week and a half.
so instead of being there in a week, we'd be there in 2 weeks.
Basically. What do you think,
Do we have-
Carter? Dr. Lawrence.
Sorry, what?
You want to go to the funeral or go to London right away?
I don't know if the wisest thing, but I feel like I owe that to him at least to be there for his funeral.
I'm not going to
And-
leave Carter and Evelyn in South America
Well, clearly not.
alone.
And we don't have news from the private eye yet.
No, nothing yet.
Okay, let's take the train.
Just in case the guy we asked him to follow flees somewhere else in America. I'd rather know that before we cross.
Mhm.
So, montage scene. You guys take the train to Mexico, Mexico City. The funeral. It's a large turnout. Like Volador was like a minor celebrity at the very least amongst the people here. So there is like not just friends and family, but just people who saw his movies, felt some sort of connection to him, wanted to grow up to be like him. You get a sense of there's a few like old timers who tell stories about fighting with him in like the Civil War. There was more to Volador than just the guy with the mask, as you come to find it. But people are appreciative that he made such good friends away from home that they would travel all this distance. Um, when you get back to New York, the stories are starting to hit about police raid on Juju House. It's surprisingly, I mean, it's like lurid tabloid journalism, but there's nothing unnatural in any of the stories. Private investigator tells you that the police apprehended or attempted to apprehend Silas and Madari. Shots were exchanged. A couple of officers were killed, but both of the suspects were as well. Poole, however, is like, what the fuck was that?
Is he going to talk to us, or do we hear this through the private eye?
Basically, just as part of the montage scene.
Okay.
But yeah, Poole is like, what the fuck? That guy, like, we went to arrest him. We went armed, like you said. He touched one of my men, and his flesh fell off.
Welcome to the club.
Like, I don't want to know.
Yeah, that was my question. Do you really want to know?
No, I do not.
I look to Bill and I say, "You owe Luther $1."
Case of wine, I thought it was.
He hasn't
It's a
said
case
he
of
wants
wine.
to know more
And I
yet.
haven't seen shit yet.
And he hasn't said that he wants to know more either.
That was the bet. The bet is I will turn to you guys and it says, all right, I want to know. Explain this shit to me. What the hell is going on?
Saying Silas and the other guy were killed in the gunfire exchange.
Yes.
What you need to know, Pooh, is the thing you don't want to know about. That's what killed our friend, and that's what we
Yeah.
need to. And that's what we
I've
need
seen
to.
the effects of contact acid in the war. That's probably what happened.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling to Pooh.
If you need help here in New York, call me, because I don't want other people to have to deal with this.
I look at Poole before we leave, and I say, "The price of peace is eternal vigilance."
True.
And Paul,
Yeah.
I recommend cremation.
I recommend whiskey.
That too.
Where are you guys headed to? And is this? I'm probably better off not knowing, right?
Away.
Probably.
We're headed away.
The old continent.
All right. Well, good luck with whatever it is you're doing.
We'll reach out, Paul. We will. I promise.
That sounds more like a threat than a promise, but
Greater good, right?
for the greater good.
If you need it, if you see anything else like that in New York, just make sure it's burned down.
Yeah. Oh, I think Rebecca and I are going to keep our eyes open just a little bit more.
Once we settle in, we'll let you know where we are, so you can reach out if something happens.
All right. Well, good luck. Godspeed.
Godspeed.
I'm gonna give him a card for my secretary at the university.
Okay.
I won't be there, but if you absolutely need to reach us, she'll probably be able to forward a message to us.
London, eh?
Yes.
Oh, if you do find yourself there, and you're in need of assistance, there's a Scotland Yard guy that I worked with on a case once. Barrington. James Barrington. And he looks directly at Alvin. He's like, he's one of the good ones.
Keep that in mind.
So if you find yourself in England and need a hand, just try not to drag him into this stuff. He's a good guy.
If we find ourselves in England and he needs a hand, we'll make sure to reach out.
All right, perfect. All right, and with that,
All right, Clark, we're hopping on a boat.
Sounds good. I gotta get out of town anyway. I've been in Pueblo, Mexico far too long.
all right. So, you have a couple of options for getting to England. All of them are by boat. But you can travel on a cruise ship or you can try to travel on a freighter.
Why?
Cruise ships can be expenses. So
Right. So the question is why one or the other? Like, is it just dollars?
Yep.
There's no more anonymity one way or the other. It's just which one's more expensive?
There's probably more anonymity working on a freighter. It's also a lot less comfortable.
Yeah, but we can't with Miss Collins.
And there's some different options for leveling up skills, I believe.
Yes.
Which is in general, Chris posted yesterday at 9:05.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be a hard sell to try to convince me to travel in a freighter. Not to say that it's going to be impossible, but it's going to be a hard sell.
My credit rating's 60, but he doesn't like to spend money.
Okay.
Mind you, there's more chance for profit taking the cruise ship.
And then the other thing that we're going to do is development phase. So if you open your character sheet, I turned on development phase. So if you click the button that says development phase, it will roll all of your skills that have a possibility of going up. And if you succeed, they will go up.
To develop, you need to fail the roll or succeed at the roll?
You need to roll higher than your current percentage. And then it goes up by like a D10%. But it's all automated, so.
Yeah, I was just curious to see if it's my low roll that had my low skill had a chance to go, or my high roll.
Your low skills have a better chance to go up.
I think it's interesting that my appraise and occult matched what I did roll wise.
Yeah.
I managed to succeed in appraisal. It went up. I failed the occult. It did not.
Perfect. Everybody also can roll to recover luck points.
I recovered some.
8 points of luck. Wow.
Holy crap, dude.
And
Nothing.
as a result of what you accomplished in New York, everybody gains 7 sanity.
That include me?
No. Basically, for solving Eliza's murder, for finding evidence about Hilton, for exposing Ronson as a dirty cop, and for defeating the zombies. You did not defeat the thing in the well, but that probably would have killed at least 2 of you. So.
I just realized, by the way, Luther, great job on getting 10 points of spot hidden. That's fantastic. 10% on that. But how do I regain that sanity if the little place where I normally do sanity is covered by the development phase? And my experience points.
Yeah. Once everybody has done their development and luck, I will turn off development phase, and then you should be good to go.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, there it is.
Thank you.
Is that no, it'd be current, right?
It's current.
Sanity.
Your maximum sanity is 99 minus your Cthulhu Mythos.
And sorry, you said our sanity was going up by what?
by 7.
Hey, then that's not fair. If it's it's 99 minus your Cthulhu myth. It's not 100 minus. Okay.
I just want to say I started with 35 sanity and currently have 61.
What?
You're
After all
becoming
these sessions,
more sane.
I am more sane now.
That's okay because Peru is like the tutorial and New York is like the beginner level.
He's alone, by the way. He's alone in that situation. Just FYI.
Uh, England is where things start to be a little dicey.
Sketchy.
All right. So while you travel, are you guys traveling on an ocean liner?
Yes.
Yes.
Evelyn certainly is.
Chris, there is
Definitely,
experience there. We don't get to spend that, right?
Correct. That's just like they track experiences. That's how much your various skills have improved over time, but you don't get experience per se.
Okay.
All right. So while you travel, you have an option. You can increase 2 skills that you've already put points into by a D4, or you can learn a new skill, and this applies for Trevor as well. You can learn a new skill from the list that's posted to the general, based on whether you want to take skeet shooting or fencing lessons or gymnastics practice or be in the pool or whatever. And any new skills that you don't already have points in will go up by a D10 plus 1.
How can we tell which ones we've put points in?
Generally speaking, anything that's higher than like a 5 or a 10%, you probably have put points in. If it's an odd number, you've probably put points into it. So again, this will be a development phase sort of thing.
Oh, do we tell you or do we change it? How do we add that D4?
All right. So on your character sheet, the furthest tab over, the one that says development,
Mhm.
the second gray column. If you mouse over it, it'll say experience.
That's the third.
It's the second gray column, but yes, the third column.
Well, the first one's personal. The second one is occupation. The third
You have
one is
to-
experience.
You have to click on the development
Yep.
tab.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, now I see it. I remember
yeah.
this.
And that's also how you'll be able to tell what you've already put points into.
And the dots are stuff that were inherently like trained at the beginning, right?
Correct. So you can, like I said, you can raise 2 skills by a D4 each, or learn a new skill at a D10 plus 1.
And I just roll a D4 and then I add that number.
Yep, put that number into the experience category.
Considering what we've been through, would it be possible for me to grab a couple of books to try to polish my anthropology skill? I've been going with archaeology, but I kind of need some anthropology skill.
Certainly, yes.
Why can't I click and add numbers here? Won't let me add the 2.
What are you trying to add it to?
Photography.
To photography. Oh, I may have to put it into there, character creation mode. That'll do it.
Aha! Perfect. And I'm putting it into the third column experience, right?
Yep.
Five on a D10 plus 1. Not great.
What skill were you bumping?
Medicine. Apparently, I'm the medic, so.
You know, somebody has to be.
I'm the medic and Pathfinder, too.
You are.
Chris, if I wanted to up a brand new skill, you said it was a D10?
D10 plus 1.
I'm just wondering, does anybody have psychoanalysis? Because I was debating that one if I wanted to go something new.
My psychoanalysis is only 11.
Psychoanalysis is curing, sanity lies. Psychology is are they lying?
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct. Psychoanalysis is making people sane.
Which we will eventually need, except apparently for Luther.
He's getting saner about seeing people die. So
I think that he had a suspicion. He thought he was going crazy and was losing his grip on sanity because all the weird shit was going on. But now he realized there is real shit going on, so he wasn't crazy.
Yeah, maybe. That could be it.
uh,
Maybe he just does better under pressure.
just so I put the things in the right column, which column was for XP? Was it the first one, second one, third one?
It's the third one. If you mouse over it, it should say XP.
Base.
Yeah, I
You mean
cannot.
to give me a bunch of personal points and occupation points?
He can't do that on a tablet.
All right.
I'm still on the tablet, so I cannot mouse over things. That's why I'm
Gotcha.
asking.
Yeah.
So the columns in order are base, personal, occupation, experience, value.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is going there.
I'm torn between first aid and shotgun.
I rolled 2d4 and rolled 3.
Oh, that's yeah, that's pretty low. I had to do some quick math to figure out whether that was anywhere close to average, but no, average would be 5.
Yeah. I blame Yorick because you rolled his d4 at the same time I did, and I saw them both bounce off each other, and then they both rolled 1.
Yeah, because that's how
That's clearly how the math works.
that's clearly how pretend dice work.
I think I am going to go with the psychoanalysis. So what am I rolling?
D10 plus 1.
I am raising my anthropology and my demolition.
Demolition. Jesus.
Oof.
Whoa!
Nice.
Salvatore.
I'm raising.
Sorry, which column am I putting that in?
Uh,
Last one?
yeah,
The before last one.
yeah, the third of the 4 columns.
I'm clearly just imagining Salvador on the boat on the top layer where you see the sea, just with his tiny glasses and a book about psychoanalysis, a tiny book in his giant hands.
You know, you guys are all like Evelyn's out on the deck, like, with the shotgun shooting its skeet being launched, and the big bruiser boxer is curled up on like the Lido deck with like the collected works of like Freud and Jung.
I'm not gonna gain point in them, but while we're on the ship, I'm participating in the dual fencing. Fencing, that's the word.
Okay.
Unrust a bit myself.
I think clearly Luther has some issues stemming back to relationship with his mother or something. I don't.
All right. And the last kind of important thing while you travel, the university has made all the arrangements for the books. Since Dr. Carter is there on site, they will basically put them into his custody. Is anybody reading any of the books?
Yeah,
Evelyn
sadly,
said she wanted to.
sadly, it's the plan.
If it's any in English, I have no fear of these books, and I would give it a shot.
It's in a language I speak.
One of them is in French, and the rest are in various types of English.
I'll read the French one then.
I'll just put through one. If I see anything that looks like drawings of naked girls, I'll grab that one.
Oh my god.
Well, kind of, kind of, if you don't mind the tentacles and like the
Nah, I don't mind any of that shit.
Mm,
As long as it has pictures.
All right. So Bill's reading a book. Dr. Carter's reading a book. Salvatore's reading a book. And is Evelyn reading a book?
I said she was, yes. Is my mic working?
Okay, perfect. It's just when it
it
comes
is,
to
yeah.
when it comes to mythos,
Okay,
when it comes to mythos tomes, I like to be absolutely clear that people are reading books.
After you finish that book, there's a tentacle that sprouts from your head like a unicorn.
All right.
Tantacorn.
To be clear, Luther is not reading a book.
Yes, neither is Alvin.
All right. Now, in theory, this should work.
Everyone roll Cthulhu Mythos.
So Salvatore, you want to read Selection de Livre d'Avant? The one in French?
Yep. Yep. Oui.
Oh, baguette.
Oh, oui, là.
Le baguette. Mon
All right.
petit chou-fleur.
Trombo.
Okay. Basically, you do have to make a language roll because French is not your native language. Oh, you could spend 8 luck on that last one if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm crazy and stupid. I'll spend the 8 luck.
Chris, can I ask mechanically why you rolled like 6 times?
Because you've basically got 8 days worth of reading.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Alvin and Pratt are playing pool in the
Pool.
pool. We're playing pool in the pool.
All right.
The only thing that Alvin is doing that's not like lounging and taking part of the beverages now that we are not on American soil is that he
Just
takes photographs
ignore
and he
these.
improves his photography
Perfect.
and spot hidden.
Just ignore these rolls. It apparently won't let me spend luck, so. But since you spent the luck, it's just a matter of the automatic stuff won't kick in until I successfully roll.
Oh, that's going to take a while.
Won't take me as long as trying to read that
Oh,
Spanish book.
Hey.
There we go. All right. So your mythos skill goes up by 4, which will be automated. You suffer a traumatic event. I need Salvatore. You should see in the little chat there where it says make an intelligence check.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
On the chat on the side, you should see a thing to roll an intelligence check. You just, I'm assuming you can see it. It says you
I can see it.
exposed to a traumatic
I
event.
saw that I rolled, I think, a 93, but the roll doesn't show up on like my table or anything.
No, like a lot of the book reading stuff is automated. So I just need you to make that intelligence check to see if you comprehend what it is you just read.
I just rolled it, but I'll do it again.
No.
So I roll it, and I'm getting a user mark lacks permission thing.
All right, I can do that then. Oh, good news.
I was-
So
I saw the dice, but it didn't show up. That's why I said I saw a number. But okay.
yeah. All right.
99 is a good news.
99 is the good news because you repressed the memory of what you read and it does not cause you to go insane. But what you do glean from the selection.
Isn't 99 terrible? Doesn't that mean that later on it'll come up?
No, oddly enough, if you're too smart, you realize what you've read and it drives you insane.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of
So-
these dice rolls in this game, if you actually make your skill check, it's bad.
So somehow the fact that Dr. Carter is way more educated than intelligent is actually a good thing.
no, it's a bad thing.
All right. So the Livre Divin, copied from an earlier Greek manuscript. As you kind of cross-reference and stuff, there are 13 specimens known to exist. It contains a variety of useful spells and treaties on practical magic. The focus is on a worship called Sathogua. There are, however, border illustrations that look like an inverted broken ankh. So it has a variety of spells if you ever want to actually try to cast any of them. Which are actually, if you open your character sheet under your gear, the book is there. And then if you click on the edit icon, it'll give you a list of the spells. If you would like to try to cast any of those, you're more than welcome to. I don't suggest you call the Blind Lord of Chaos because that destroys the world. But
I like the giggle when you said you're more than welcome to.
Do I have to learn these spells individually, or is just any time I want to, I can cast? Like, I wasn't planning to be a spellcaster originally, but it would be an interesting character arc if I suddenly get into the occult. So,
the way I do it is there are mechanics for learning a spell. The way I tend to do it is as long as you have the book with you the first time you cast the spell, you still have to make a roll to successfully cast it. But after you have cast it the first time, then you just say, I'm casting this spell, I'm spending the points, I'm losing the sanity, done. So the first time there is a roll and you need to have the book with you. After that, though, you can just do it.
so I only need the book for like the first time.
Yep. All right. Dr. Carter, what book would you like to read?
Do I only have the time to read one?
Yeah, only have time to read one. So there is the Narcotic manuscripts, Life as a God Amongst the Stones. And you also have Africa's Dark Secrets because you guys in by the turning that back into Harlem to Harvard.
Yes, the book that will not get back to Harvard. I take my vows to library seriously, but I'm not the one who took it out, so I think I'm gonna start with the Panopticon.
All right. Oh, you only lost 4 sanity out of that. That's not horrible at all.
You got a hard success.
So this is it's like a treatise on an actual like Greek script called the Datakia. It's based on these strange beings. The book refers to them as the great race of Yith.
The Yitin.
Yep. And apparently, according to the scribbled notes, the scribbled footnotes, There is an existence of a city of these people in the western desert of Australia. From what you can gather reading it, this book traces its origin to pre-human creations who seeded life on Earth. And again, the book is on your gear sheet if you want to see what spells are in there, and just let me know if you would ever like to cast any of those. Evelyn.
Chris, given enough time, can everyone here read all those books?
Eventually, it'll take
Okay.
like
Weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to check to see if the book is kind of like locked to them. But for example,
Well,
Caputo once he casts all the spells in the book, he could potentially pass that book off to someone else for them to cast the spells.
yep. Depends on how sane he is at the end of it, but yes.
This is not the game to trade spells.
So Evelyn, would you like to read?
Spells are in the third book.
Yeah. Would Evelyn like Life as a God or the poetry book Amongst the Stones?
Good question. What little did we know about them from the library?
Amongst the Stones is a collection of
Did you put
poetry.
something in that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Amongst the Stones, it's a collection of poetry. Seems to refer to this dread ruler, this god ruler named Nicotitus. And life as a god is the depraved worshipping of something called the Black Pharaoh. That's where Carlisle's note was tucked into.
That's what I'm gonna. Yeah. Evelyn will read the one about the god.
You picked the worst one.
Uh-huh.
That family. Uh huh.
Okay. All right. Ooh, an extreme success. So your Cthulhu Mythos goes up by 2 points. You suffer 5 points of sanity loss. And I need you to make me an intelligence check.
Are you opening development so I can change those, or are you changing those on your end?
It happens automatically.
It's funny. So far, it's four Cthulhu, 3 Cthulhu, and now 2 Cthulhu points.
I thought I had a 5 before I rolled, but okay. You need me to roll a what?
An intelligence. Ooh.
Oh,
Wait, this is the
now
one she wanted to fail, though.
Yep.
Okay. The good news is that it's only a temporary bout of insanity. The bad news is that since you're kind of studying the book by yourself, roll a d10 for me. Interesting.
Is that a for real interesting or like, ha 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 ha, I'm an evil DM? Interesting.
Okay. So, Evelyn. As you read this book, this book was written by somebody named Montgomery Crumpton, an English soldier and artist. Um, the text is sloppy. It's written in brown ink. Partway through your study of it, you realize that it is bound in human skin.
Ew.
It seems like this Crompton individual had high fever, a series of what he claims were occult visions while he was in Egypt, and was inducted into this cult of something called the Black Pharaoh, a forgotten ruler of Egypt said to have possessed magical, possibly divine powers. Then the book goes on to describe what he did as a member of the cult. When you come to, you find yourself in your room, just kind of focusing for a second as you look down at the basically sharpened piece of glass that you have hovering over your wrist. You know that if you spill your blood, the Black Pharaoh will accept you and make you a god with him.
Mechanical question, Chris.
Yep.
This is technically right now in between, like this is part of the downtime. Can
Yep.
characters die in downtime?
Uh-huh.
Okay, just checking.
That's a good question, though.
Wouldn't it be awesome if I died in like 2 sessions in a row?
A little bit.
That's terrible.
I apparently can't spell.
Because you didn't roll with the book first.
But no, Evelyn, you'll notice on your character sheet under backstory, there's a new thing added underneath underneath traits.
Oh dear. I do not see it.
No, yeah, personal description, ideology, beliefs, significant people, meaningful locations, treasure possessions, traits.
Uh-huh. And traits is black. Or traits is blank.
Should be.
I'll close my sheet and reopen it.
Yeah, you might need to.
There it is. Oh dear. Okay.
But the important thing is you vaguely remember, vaguely hearing a whispering voice saying, like, "Come to me, my child." Which leaves Bill with Amongst the Stones.
Yay!
Enjoy the poetry.
There once was a girl from Nantucket.
Oh, you had just a minor trauma thing. So as you
Paper cut.
yeah, what you're reading here, your Cthulhu mental score goes up by like 1 point, so you're like, oh, that's something a little heebie-jeebie about this. The main thing you get out of this is it's a collection of poems, but they seem fixated on this Egyptian queen. This queen called Nitocris, Nitocris, who was like basically probably like early dynastic Egypt, said to have like divine powers, godlike powers that were tied up in or somehow connected to her royal regalia.
Cool.
The descriptions of what she did with her powers to her followers are, even for somebody who's been through the war, stomach churning.
In history, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's like reading about what the Aztecs did. So yeah, it gives you a bad dream once in a while,
yeah.
but it's not going to ruin your life forever.
To like the nth degree. And those who worshipped her committed unspeakable atrocities. The sort of thing that we will not delve on in a R-rated game because we're not NC-17. But it's enough to cause you to kind of put the book down for a little bit. But specifically, her royal regalia is a crown with a jet black circlet, a girdle, which is intricately linked gold chain, and a ruby as the clasp.
Pretty cool.
And a necklace, which is a long silver chain decorated with emerald beads and a square emerald pendant carved with the image of a black sphinx. Those are the items that are said to be the source of her power.
And I bet they have severe black market value if I can find them.
Absolutely. But
So my Cthulhu Mythos is currently 1. Is that going to fix itself?
that's why it's 1.
All right.
You start with 0.
No
Good job.
checks, nothing like that.
Pardon?
I don't have to make a sanity roll or anything like that.
You only lost 1 point of sanity, so you're like, it's disturbing, but it's not like mind shattering.
Nice.
The real danger was Salvador losing 8 points, but he did not realize the full comprehension of what he had read. Because Evelyn got basically a temporary insanity to last for a couple of hours. If Salvatore had made the intelligence check, it would have been indefinite insanity, which lasts for until he gets help.
Luckily, he is his own psychoanalyst.
That always goes well.
You always know what questions to avoid.
Drink some vino, put the book down, go for a swim. You guys gotta clear my head.
There is one research I'd like to do while we're on the ship.
Okay.
The scepter, it says it channeled the power of a specific god. I wanted to know if that god is mentioned in any of the books.
No.
Good.
No.
That's one thing.
Chris, entirely cosmetic. I make sure that we have a picture of us, the 6 of us together.
Perfect.
5 of us?
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, you like those going on an expedition pictures.
Exactly.
Luther
But,
will
like,
be
in
holding
swim
his
trunks.
Bible.
In swim trunks and like cigars or whatever.
Okay.
Luther will still be holding his Bible.
All right. So after 8 days at sea, reading books, shooting some skeet, putting your minds relatively to ease, at least those of you who don't read any of the strange books, you arrive at the end of January on the shores of Southampton. Luther, you've traveled a fair bit in the military. You would know that Southampton is the port, and then it's a train into London, which takes about half a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I will get everybody to give me a luck roll.
Luck.
Yes.
Quick question. The spells in this book, are they all in the main book? I'm just curious what people of them do.
Oh, sorry, that was all broken up there.
I'm just curious if the spells in this book are in like the core book so I can read them because I'm just curious what people of them do.
If you click on the description, it should actually pull it up.
It doesn't like highlight or do anything when I try to click.
Okay.
The star is getting him.
So yeah, if you click on the edit icon for the book, the one that looks like a little pen and pad, and then go over to the spell tab, and then if you click on the edit thing there, it'll pull up the description of the spell. It should. All right. The only people whose bags get randomly checked at customs are Alvin and Bill and Evelyn.
Nothing special in mine.
Has a revolver.
There's a deck of raunchy French postcards, but they can confiscate that. They're not worth anything.
Sorry about that.
Triple success on the luck. Luther gets his guns.
How very American of you.
There's
America!
Hello.
there's nothing.
Hey,
Hello.
Mark.
There's
Okay.
nothing particularly scandalous in her luggage.
So the
Except
important
for the demon.
Spiritualist trappings. That's about it.
question is, who is transporting the African ceremonial mask?
Carter.
I thought Dr. Carter.
Okay. And who has the strange metal headband?
I thought Carter was handling all the creepy shit.
Okay.
Am I wrong? Was I wrong to assume that? Did anyone else show any interest
I
in those
thought
things?
he was. I thought he was too, just because we had the excuse of him like shipping it for the university.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is.
I
I'm
can say
actually
that Luther's not taking any of the crazy shit.
Bill is a smuggler, but you guys just met him, and we would have bonded perhaps on the boat. But I can't imagine you guys would give him anything important on the first day you met him.
Didn't you read a book?
Well, I read the book, but I mean, I was like by the pool.
Yeah,
It's just
Alvin and I
so
got our eyes on all of you. All y'all.
Just so you know, when I try to click on the spells, it doesn't do anything. So I'm not worried about it right now. But just
Okay.
There's
I
one
just
day.
realized I was muted while I was saying that. I assumed I was carrying all of the strange things, as I can pass them as university research things that we're bringing back.
Okay, perfect. I will assume that going forward unless I hear otherwise.
There's a magic 6-shooter that shows up. We'll have a different conversation.
All
Yep.
right. Thankfully, the people with guns weren't actually searched. So you don't have to worry about that. Just
I was Alvin. Alvin failed and he got searched.
true. So the customs agents will be like, "I'm sorry, sir, this is not allowed."
I'm American. Of course it's allowed.
"I'm sorry, sir, this is not a hunting implement."
Fine. That's it. We'll move on.
So they will confiscate that. There's a slight fine.
There's a fine.
There's a fine.
They take my gun and they charge me? Come on.
Uh-huh.
Tell them to sell the gun for the fine.
But other than that, you guys clear customs, make your way to the train to London. London is, even by New York standards, London is a big city. There's like 7.5 million people in Greater London at this time.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
It is the largest and the wealthiest city in the world
Interesting.
At the time.
at the time. It is also, this is like height of the British Empire. It is the cornerstone of civilization and the beating heart of the entire British Empire. As you get into London, the county covers 116 square miles. The streets are maze-like. It is quite easy to get lost here. Like most cities of this size, it's divided into districts: Soho, Oxford, Regent, Charing Cross Road, Piccadilly, so on and so forth. The oldest street market in the city is nearby. Um, the actual city itself is about 1 square mile north of the Thames. It is in the medieval district within the walls. Um, what would you guys like to do here in London?
On the train, before we get into London proper, I'm going to hand my 38 to Alvin.
Okay. Surreptitiously, I suspect.
Oh yeah, yeah. Little conversation. I might even headbutt him, and then kind of drop a pistol in his lap.
Okay.
Specific destination in this city.
Chris, weird question. I know that we don't track ammo,
Yep.
but that was in the States. How easy is it to come across actual ammunition in England?
It will be more difficult. We're still not going to track it per se, but if something happens where you're like, oh shit, that was my last bullet, it'll be
Alright.
much harder to replace.
I don't have permission to delete the 38 from my sheet. But we have to give Alvin a gun, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think it's you don't have to add the revolver to mine. I'll just assume that the one I had before was good
Okay.
because it gets replaced. Did anyone keep any of those giant knives?
I got one.
Yep, they're in the trunk with the artifact.
Of course, you have them. Okay.
I mean, I left some for the police as evidence, but I brought some back.
Why wouldn't you carry a giant knife?
Evelyn seems very quiet and withdrawn.
I don't know our first business order of business, but I would really like to stop at my place. I'd love to be home for a bit, and we'll need to find you a room.
Are you inviting us over, or are you saying you don't want us around?
I can have you over, but it might be interesting to also get a room in nearby hotel.
Well, it's probably best that we get a room before we start tracking after, let's just say, very tenuous evidence. Miss Collins, you all right? Seemed a little.
Just thinking.
All right. Well, if you need something, let us know.
So are you guys looking for like an upscale hotel, middle class, lower class, bed and breakfast?
I don't know, like upper lower class, lower middle class.
I mean, it's our first time in England, right? For most of us, we don't know what we're looking for. We're gonna find a place that has a roof to begin with, and then we'll decide from there if where we went was the right place, and we're gonna go from there.
Can I just have a place to suggest?
Yeah, please, Doc. You've been here. I mean, I've been here, but I was doing different work when I was in here. So
Can Dr. Carter just suggest a place where he knows someone and that would be easier?
Yep.
Not too far from his place, something like that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you're going to avoid like the upper scale places like the Savoy or the Browns Hotel or the Waldorf and get something like a little bit more.
Something more discreet.
So yeah, we'll say the Cavendish. It's like a upper middle class hotel. Good rooms, good service, but without all of the ritz and glamour of the more established places.
And the employees can be discreet with the patrons, so should be perfect.
And as you guys arrive at the hotel and get settled in, um, you guys notice the fog here is unbelievable. It is like a kind of a yellowish brown green color and damp and cloying. Uh, Causes you a couple of times to kind of have to like catch your breath and like cough up some like filament.
Element?
Is it
Don't worry.
different than during the war?
No. Throughout the 1920s and a little bit later on, London's pea soup fog uh, was horrible. Between the factory pollution and the dampness of the coastal area and the coal fires, yeah, it's not any different than the last time Luther was here. It's not any better. It's maybe a little bit worse, but it's London.
It's
Uh,
London. Okay.
don't worry, we don't have fog that often, just when it's not raining.
It never stops raining here.
Well, when it stops, we have fog.
Hey, the good news is the last time I was here, this entire city was on fire, and it doesn't appear so now. So,
I actually have
thumbs
never
up.
been here. I've ordered stuff from here. I've sent stuff here. It's my first time. I hear they have green gravy.
I get green air.
I hear they got good beer.
They do have good beer, and no lack of it.
You said you knew where we could get a room.
Nice to be back in a
Yes.
civilized country then.
Let me escort you.
So yeah, you guys can easily arrange for rooms at the hotel.
We'll call this hotel number one.
Tato
Um,
Uno.
so yes, so basically, by the time you travel, get through customs, take the train to London, get your hotels, uh, it will be the next day.
Okay.
Gonna go back home before the end of the day.
Okay.
Get back in my stuff.
Okay.
And I've been missing Alexander quite much, so I'll be happy to see him again.
All right. So that will take us to Saturday, January 31st, your first day in England.
Let's find one of these first English breakfasts. One of these big English breakfasts I keep hearing about. You want to trade books, anyone?
I'm not sure anyone else should read this. How was the
These
poetry?
are in language I read or speak, but if anyone wants to read the French one, disturbing as it is, it's up to them.
I walk over to Salvatore and trade books with him and kind of whisper, "Frails, ain't I right?"
Trade books. Nothing can go wrong from this.
How about, how about you
Mine has
just give us the
pictures.
Cliff's Notes? Did we learn anything interesting in these books?
Well, in mine, it keeps referring to like an ancient Egyptian queen of, well, let's just say she was horrible. But it pointed out some, apparently she had powers, and her powers came from her garb. What was there? There was like a crown, there was like a pendant, something like that. All listed here in the book. Um, I don't know if we want to go to Cairo, but if we do,
I mean, that's
uh,
a
I bet there's a lot of money if we can find this. I mean, I doubt this book has seen a lot of printings.
And those
I
are
mean, we're hidden that way eventually, but
Yeah, maybe we'll find more clues along the way.
Which one is the Egyptian book that Bill is mentioning?
the one that he is mentioning is
Poem one.
amongst the stones. And I will get. It looks like Alvin has the lowest luck, so I'll get Alvin to give me a luck roll.
sorry, I was on mute when I was swearing. Let me reiterate for the podcast. God damn it. Okay. Luck. I'm at 44 now. Did everyone roll higher than me for luck?
I have 55, but that's my starting.
I'm a lucky guy.
Well
45.
done.
I have
Well done.
48.
All right, perfect. So yeah, so as they start discussing, long dead Egyptian god priests and priestesses, and ancient tomes and relics and stuff, Alvin, you just kind of look around the area where you're having breakfast and go like, okay, nobody's paying attention.
But I made my luck roll. So no one is paying attention.
Correct.
Okay.
oh shit. Okay.
That means if I had failed, people would have. Okay, I get it.
More importantly, if you'd failed, people would have been paying attention, and I wouldn't have told you.
Correct. Carry on. I keep. I mean, that's kind of my role is to watch out for stuff. So while they're having this discussion, I'm less paying attention to what they're saying and more paying attention to the people around us. We've already been surprised more times than I care to imagine, or my care to remember. Excuse me.
Right. So, guys, I have a question.
Yes?
We're in London.
Hmm.
Does anyone have a clue where we're going?
Well, my plan was to go ask a question to see where the Carlisle expedition was furnished and try to trace back their last passage. See anything we can find about what they did in London.
You know, I have a friend that might be able to. This is me ad-libbing here, Chris. I have
Yep.
a friend we did a lot of deals back in the war days, sent stuff back and forth. Got a little extra on the side, like we always looked out for each other. I could probably reach out to him and see if he can get me a manifest of where they went, what the ship was, what when they left, and when they were expected to arrive.
That could be interesting.
Well, I mean, anything's good, right?
Only
Like
a few of them
we
can.
we basically need
Not
to have a
all of
plan
them. So
of
I'll
what we're
put one
doing
behind.
in the near future,
You get the
seeing
ones
that
that
we're
click. We'll get
in
them. I'm not even
a
worried.
different fucking country.
I mean, we came here on the belief that the smarter people in this group, I look at Miss Collins and Mr. Carter, Dr. Carter, that we knew what we were getting ourselves into and where we were going. So now,
We are tracking the Carlisle expedition movement in London, but also wherever we wanted to go afterward, we needed to be in London to go to. No other destination on our list could be. We could go directly. We needed to go to London first. So while we are in London, the point is to try to get on our track with the Carlisle expedition. And I want to cross-reference the things we found with the archive I have at the university library to try to get the pieces together.
All right, how do we go about doing that?
And I will take the opportunity to remind people that you do have a significant number of handouts.
Yeah, let's take a good look at those.
Chris,
Yep.
do I know if the breakfast the restaurant of the Carlisle of the hotel where we are would be the kind of place where they would accommodate my eccentricness, or if it's a place where I need to be more on my best behavior?
Probably more best behavior. I mean, this is still like kind of just vaguely post-Victorian England. Actually, but still, I have to look up when Victoria was around. I think it's Edward at this point, though. But it is still very prim and proper British society.
Good. Trying to assess where I will and will not bring my pet with me.
your pet?
Yes. One of the things I wanted to do when I got back to London was getting back home so I could see Alexander and making sure he's all right. I have someone at home to take care of him, but seeing how things are going, I'd rather have him close.
Just to be clear, I know this is off the wall. Your pet's a
Uncle?
dog?
Not
I
exactly.
was right there with you. I was like, you say my eccentric pet. I was like, this is not a corgi he's talking about.
Well, now that you're talking about it, I probably should try to find a guard dog. That would be a good idea, considering everything that happens with us lately.
No, back to the pet. Wait, what are you talking about, pet?
Yes, Alexander. I got him on a dig site while I was in expedition. He's very clever.
Is Alexander a person?
No, he's a monkey.
Bring up the gimp.
Oh, okay, you have a monkey.
And a very intelligent one at that.
You were with us for weeks and weeks and weeks in the United States.
Yeah, and I didn't bring him to the United States.
But how do we not know you own a monkey? We fought the shambling dead. How do I not know you own a monkey?
Because I didn't bring him to America, and we didn't have leisure to just talk about families and pets. But now that I got back home, I wouldn't want to leave him behind.
Sure.
I mean, if you want to get your monkey, then
I won't bring him to posh gathering, but they're used to him at the university.
I'm not
And-
cleaning up after your monkey.
Don't worry. But if we need to deal with cults again, maybe getting a guard dog at some point might be a good idea.
Especially here, since you're not allowed to have a gun.
Oh, you're allowed to have a gun for hunting.
And British citizens can apply for permission.
So what happens if we get into a gunfight in England? Here,
Folks can make law rolls.
I will make a laurel. I have a
Get a
laurel.
shot.
For some reason, I'm in like an weird edit mode, which I can't get out of. Like I can't click on. There we go. Thank you.
Oh my god, I made it.
Well
Holy
done.
shit!
That Salvatore did too.
Salvatore rolled a 1.
Yeah.
The second one of the game. And I think we saw 99, didn't we?
Alvin did it too. We're like, oh yeah, we fucking know how to deal with this.
Well, I have 40 law. Okay, I'm the ex-cop. I should.
All right. Yeah, Salvatore seems to make like, just like out of the blue. Like you look over the box, it's like, yeah, I knew that. All right. It depends whether you legally have the gun or illegally have the gun. If you are not a British citizen and you do not have a travel permit, you do not legally have a weapon.
Right.
That makes things much worse. You're looking at imprisonment. I don't think there's extradition at this time. The British penal system is not great. Basically, any crime you commit while you have a firearm is exponentially more punished.
There are no self-defense laws in the UK that would exonerate us from stuff like that.
There are not.
Okay.
You might be able to get a letter of recommendation from a U.S. law enforcement authority or a British law enforcement authority to allow your certificate. Other than that, British subjects, permanent residents can have firearms. Hunting, like smoothbore weapons, are fine because they're hunting weapons, so rifles, shotguns, that sort of thing.
And you're allowed to walk around downtown with a shotgun and or rifle?
You might be arrested if you just walk around with it over your arm, but if you put it in like a bag because you're on your way out to the fields to go fox hunting or whatever.
Fox hunting. Got it.
But yes, carrying it in the open is strictly not allowed. But you can have it with you as you're on your way out into the country to go hunting. Assuming, of course, you are a permanent resident, a British citizen, or have a certificate of authority from a law enforcement officer.
But not for hunting. Hunting, it's just you can have
one. Yes.
Okay. So we share that information across the board. If we do have any rifles, it's put them in a bag, and anyone asks, we're downtown, I don't know, sharpening our gun before we go hunting.
Not sure that's how. Okay.
I'll communicate with our lawyers in New York to see if he has a friend who's operating in London that would be understanding of our situation in case we need legal representation.
Okay.
And I'll try to do that every place we go, trying to find a lawyer before we start doing shit.
It will take some time to get in touch with him, just because telegraph there, telegraph back, time zones.
Yes.
Yep.
But I'll get that moving.
Okay.
Eventually. I'll probably have to go to my office, get paperwork done, as I'll be working on a new project. Uh,
You're going to
trying
get
to
your
write.
monkey, aren't you?
He's at home. I didn't think I could bring it to breakfast, but I'll need to get paperwork in as I am starting a new work on apparently death cult across the world to justify my movements and expense, so that the artifact I bring back and I buy makes sense in the register.
All right. What do you want the rest of us to do?
And I'll also have some time to try to check up at the library to see if we can find any information around what we already know. Our new friend brought up something that could be interesting, trying to it up and see if we could go through the people who furnished the Carlisle expedition to get any information on where they went and what they did would be a good start. Let's see.
So I will give you guys a couple of options.
Sorry, I was rustling through
Yeah.
the papers.
Yep. So there is information in the handouts that will point you in directions. Or if you truly feel like you're stuck, you can do what's called an idea roll. The trick to an idea roll is the difficulty is based off of how obvious the evidence is. Whether you fail or succeed, you're going to get the information you need to get on track. But failing the idea roll basically puts things in my court. Succeeding at the idea roll means you're like, aha, right, there was that. So if you don't remember or can't find the information in the handouts, you can collectively decide to go for the idea roll at the risk of the keeper having some say in what happens.
No, I think we're good on moving forward on our own. I'm just filling up the last 10 minutes, basically.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'll need to check out the end out a bit more. But I
I
think
mean, there's plenty of stuff there.
yes, plenty of stuff to follow through. I just I need to check it out, and it's not easy on the tablet while the game is running.
For sure.
But I do want to make touch ground with the university. Try to see if I can get anything from the library to cross-reference what we already have. And if there is any way for us to try to get in contact with people who fix the Carlisle expedition with the material they needed or fix their ship, maybe your new friend can help with that.
Perfect. All right. I will get Bill to give me. Let's see. It's not really a. It's not really like a connections skill. Oddly enough.
The old luck roll.
Yeah. Bill, give me a luck roll.
I can try. Can't push luck, right? Or use luck on luck.
Correct.
I did not make it.
Yeah.
Hate this country.
Unfortunately, the guy that you worked with before has either gone to
Arrested.
ground or been nicked by the cops.
Oh well. Sorry, guys. He's made a runner for it.
But what
Might
we'll
actually
do,
have to go through proper channel to that info.
may have to go through proper channels. So we'll wrap things up a little bit early, just so folks have a chance. And all of the information that you have should also be in the Discord, so you can access it even if Foundry's not up.
Oh, right. Thanks. That's gonna save me lots of trouble. I was trying to figure out how I would.
I
But
remember. Sorry, I know we're gonna cut out early, but the only thing
Yeah.
that I remember, I didn't want to be the one dropping that because, well, as much as I want to let Dr. Carter lead here, was I remember we came to London because there's a portion of the Carlisle expedition that was funded by a foundation. I think it was
Correct.
like Pennerman Foundation or something like that, and we
Right.
wanted to go there.
perfect. Yes, the Penhue Foundation. You guys have the business.
Penhue, yes. That was the only direct lead, if I remember, that we had, because they were supposed to get, oh, my memory, they were supposed to get new people, like they're supposed to get additional help, because there's like 2 or 3 people, including the psychologist that was part of the crew, but they were going to get new manpower in London before they head out, right? And they were being funded by Penhue.
Correct.
Am I remembering this right?
You're like 90%.
Okay.
So, but yes, you guys do have the business card for the Penhue Foundation, which was a fundamental part of the Carlisle expedition.
Oh, I didn't even think of the card. I thought it was in the original information for in one of the newspaper clippings. I thought they talked about how, hey, they've arrived in London and because of the Penhue Foundation and they need more people. Maybe it was a call for assistance or something.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to talk to Edward Gavingan, Tottenham Court, London.
Okay,
Freaking
so
Tottenham.
I think that's our first. So sorry for interrupting your end of session. I think that's our first stop, but I think that there's other things that we need to take a look at.
Perfect. So yeah, with the realization that we've got the address for the Penhue Foundation. We will call it there, and we'll pick up next week.
All right, 8:00 tomorrow, right? Pending weather giving us internet.
Pending weather tomorrow, yes, we will. Forbidden Lands tomorrow at 8:00 Atlantic, 7:00 Eastern. Before we head out though, I will you guys end a session. You guys can do luck gain rolls.
Sorry?
You can do a roll to see if you regain any luck.
Oh,
Now I
luck
roll
roll.
an 8 on luck.
No luck for me.
No luck for me. Salvatore got luck.
Let's see if I can get some luck back.
Alvin got luck
I need to. I'm the unluckiest guy here.
because you spend it all the
Back to
time.
Valador.
Ouch.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's true.
fair.
That's true.
Perfect. All right. So we will pick up next week with your investigations in London, and I will encourage people to be careful. In London, things can go poorly. There have been total party kills that happened in London.
Life is cheap in the streets of Whitechapel.
So I know that we're going to talk about it by Discord, but I think that there's 2 things. There's Penhue, and then we follow kind of the same track that we did in New York. So if we're here to check after the cults, it's possible there are also missing people in the downtrodden areas of London, and there might be reports of that in the newspaper and so on and so forth. So we can make contact.
One idea.
Perfect.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one, which is for several of you tomorrow. But
Yep.
None Friday, right?
Weather pending.
No, nothing for us on Friday.
Awesome.
all right.
I
Thanks, guys.
Night, guys.
Take care.
Have a
Thanks,
good night,
guys.
guys.
Good night, everyone.
I